Hey guys, what's up? Ryan here with Tom Art Persona. Welcome back to the page. Today's video, I actually want to react to a picture I shared on my Instagram about a week and a half ago. It has to do with the different kinds of people you want in your life or in your inner circle. I really like the idea overall. It kind of serves as a checklist to see like who you have in your life, who you still need in your life. But I also want to kind of expand on it a little bit and interject my own ideas as well as just explain the overall concept to break it down for you guys to help you so you can start using it productively to your advantage. But before we get into it, remember to give this one a thumbs up at some point. I'm going to be giving you a lot of useful information, so definitely give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. And yeah, so let's go. Let's talk about it. So in case you're not on my Instagram, I know some of you guys aren't. The image I'm going to be talking about, I'll put it right here. You guys can check it out. Basically, though, you can see that there are several different kinds of people, right, that you want in your life. The one thing that I will note at the end of this, actually, I have a couple of things to note and a couple of things to add, but I'll save that to the end, I guess. So let's just go over this briefly. So first off, you want to have an accountability partner. And the way it's shown on this picture is that maybe the accountability partner and the person who's brutally honest are the most important people. But I don't think, I think everything on here is equally important. So the accountability partner, the brutally honest, the empathizer, right? So somebody to understand what you're going through, like, you know, emotionally. The challenger, somebody to challenge your ideas and to push you a little bit further. The inspirer, somebody to inspire ideas and such. I will actually go on to tell you that I think that this role specifically can be anything, not just a person. Then the listener, somebody to just listen, hear you out, objectively, not judge you. The optimist, somebody who's rooting you on. The practical motivator, somebody who pushes you to do it but is still practical about it, isn't too optimistic. And the encourager. I do think the encourager perhaps is the most important out of all these people, because the encourager kind of encapsulates all of these qualities, right? So I see it as being maybe a partner, maybe a wife or a best friend, or somebody to just push you and encourage you and motivate you to do your best. All right, so that's what the list is here. I do, as I said, want to expand on it a little bit, so let's go. I'll tell you exactly what I think and what I think needs to be added to this. It actually says right up at the top, 9 open-minded people that you should have in your life. But I think it's not just people, right? So a lot of these things, so the optimist, the inspirer, the challenger, I feel a lot of these things you can actually be for yourself. Of course, it's still beneficial to have a second person, preferably an objective second person. So, you know, I said before, like, your encourager should be like your wife, but that she wouldn't, or, you know, wouldn't be able to be objective, or whoever you're married to wouldn't be objective, right? So you kind of want this to be, think of it as like business partners almost. You know, certain things definitely, like the listener, I will tell you, it's virtually impossible to objectively listen to yourself. I mean, having conversations, listening to yourself, talking out loud, thinking through things is, of course, extremely beneficial, and I do it quite often. But you probably want an outside figure listening. Same thing with empathizer, because like when it comes to emotions and stuff, the last thing you want to do is feel isolated or alone in your journey. So it's always optimal to have somebody else, or preferably all of these people are going to be empathizing with you, right? All of these people are going to have an emotional connection to you. But make sure you at least have one person, one solid person to connect with on a deeper spiritual kind of level. What else? Brutally honest too. Like you can think you're honest to yourself, you're brutally honest, you're pragmatic. I mean, I know I definitely am. But, when it comes to objective honesty, you really can't be objective when it comes to yourself, especially when it comes to your business or your ideas or your style. And you might be wearing something and think, oh man, I'm super sexy right now. Everything looks on point. But somebody else might say, hey, dude, listen, like, no, you're making mistakes here. I'm just being real with you. I'm just being brutally honest with you. So that's what I mean by, you can definitely be the rules for yourself with some of these. So you don't actually need like a mastermind group of 9 people, but make it like 4 or 5 at the minimum, right? You don't want to just have that lone wolf attitude, which I do have a lot of times. But connecting with people and working with people definitely helps. And with a lot of these things, as I just pointed out, you definitely want to make sure you have somebody else in your corner. Well, let's talk briefly about what I meant before by the inspire being anything. Like, inspiration is found through many different means, and I know with me, I get inspired by a lot. My job at Macy's, ton of inspiration. Just conversing with friends, with family, ton of inspiration. Walking down the street, even, I get a ton of inspiration, right? Because it's almost like a creative thing. When you're creatively in the zone, when your mind's open to that, you take inspiration, you get ideas from everything. So I don't think having one single person to inspire you is optimal. I think that maybe, like the idea of a muse, like like your wife again, or your partner, and just having somebody who you can really not be inspired by, but again, going back to the encourager role, where maybe the person's inspiring you to keep on moving forward. But in terms of getting inspired for ideas and being creative like that, I think anything can be a source of inspiration if you're looking for it, right? So it really depends on your mindset and your perspective and where you're looking for that inspiration. These rules are great. I definitely agree with them. But there is one more I would add, and that is the fool, right? Think about it. Every monarch, every king had a fool, had a jester, somebody to make them laugh, somebody to be silly, make jokes, somebody just to be lighthearted about things, because you never want to take things too seriously, because that could lead to issues down the road. I mean, especially when you run into inevitable challenges. If you are taking things too seriously, you're probably going to be discouraged to continue. So that's why I think it's a great idea to at least have one fool figure. I mean, not saying they're a fool or they're an idiot or anything, but just using that term of a fool, possibly two. I would warn, however, against having too many of these kinds of people in your life. And I think that's the issue. That's the main problem with a lot of people, is their circles are comprised of primarily like the fool figures, the jesters, and they're all about having a good time. They're all about having fun and making jokes and laughing and stuff. But they have too much of a good time and not enough productivity. So that's why I think, definitely you want one person like that, one lighthearted person to kind of fill that role for you. And it could be the encourager even too. Like the encourager, like I keep saying, it's like the ultimate role, and it kind of like encapsulates everything. So the fool could be the encourager as well. But if not, you at least want one other person to just kind of joke around about with, and that's not to say that it has to be a completely different person, because maybe it's your accountability partner. I know my accountability partner tends to be a little more on the lighthearted side at times, right? Or maybe your listener can also fill that role for you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a single individual. In fact, maybe for the best it's not, right? Because you don't want somebody who's just like a complete I don't want to say idiot again, but somebody who's completely disconnected from your goals and your passion and your ambition. So it's definitely an important role to have, but it might be one that you want to look for in one of your other key players, right? Because you don't want to get too deterred from your success. I saw that picture last week. I just was drawn to it. I really like that idea. I like the concept of a mastermind group. If you don't know what that is, it's just a group of people who all have similar interests, and they all come together to work as a group essentially. So it's a really important factor. It's something really important you should consider doing. And just seeing this checklist almost of roles is incredibly helpful. So definitely save that. Definitely be on the lookout for people like that. Or think about who is in your life that could fit those potential roles, right? Because I'm sure you have myriads of people in your life already, right? Like, don't go out looking for like the listener or the accountability partner. I mean, you could do that if you want, but I mean, with me, trust and loyalty are big things, and those things come over time. So I'm not going to go down the street and meet my my empathizer, right? Because with me, it takes a while. Like, I don't want to say years, but probably years. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this idea, this checklist? Do you think it is important to have a mastermind group, to have people holding you accountable, encouraging you, helping you, being brutally honest with you, to do your best to whatever you're doing, whether it's with if you have a business or even with your style, right? Because style can be very subjective, right? And it's hard for us to be honest with ourselves about our style. So it's probably good to go find some people to help us out with that. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Also, if you haven't yet, give this one a thumbs up, because I just gave you a ton of information that maybe you didn't know. So I think this one definitely deserves a thumbs up. If you like the content on my page and want to stay on board with what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you want to receive additional perks, help support the channel, check out my Patreon page linked down below. Alright guys, but before you leave, remember, when you look and smell your best, you feel your best, and that's what matters.